Welcome to Musing with Tonya D. I am your host once again, Tonya D., and thanks for joining me. And this is part of my series in nature. And I look at nature from an energetic perspective of wellness and whole energy well-being. And with that said, when something's going on within the body, it's actually the energy bodies trying to speak. And what I say that for is a lot of people don't realize that they need to experience health. And going beyond the temporary relief of a Band-Aid or even surgery or the treatments of various symptoms as complete approaches to any problem, with a deeper and more substantial communication between our environment and within ourselves. I believe that any illness invites us to take a moment and to sift through the many levels of our existence and ask for an understanding and be open to needed changes. When illness arises, stop, look, and listen. When we experience disease, there's a message trying to come to us which we're not receiving, and the message will persist until we see it. We can be open to it, avoid it, or even hate it. Any resistance can create a conflict or even a struggle. This is the nature and the degree of the illness. We're all aware that most aspects in our lives are not constant. Our life force may persist, yet our experiences, feelings, activities, and they change regularly. Outside, nature does her dance. She's our teacher. She has her patterns, yet we can't count on her or expect anything for sure. Ancient wisdom states, change is the only truth in the universe, or there is nothing permanent except change. If change is all we expect, we're stepping into the driver's seat. This even supports the idea that staying healthy comes from understanding and living in the cycles of nature. So when you think about the weather, it varies continually. But there are other natural patterns which also affect us, like day and night, a new moon, or even a full moon, along with the seasons. And they're all important to our living life. We also have cycles known as a biological clock. And these clocks regulate our daily hormone levels, our metabolism, even our cycles of life, and the rapidly and degree of childhood growth, the onset of adolescence, even menopause. There are other internal cycles that are reflected in our emotional, mental, and physical energies, along with even more subtle ones, which influence our creativity, our compassion, appreciation of beauty, our self-awareness, and our spiritual awareness. There is so much to be aware of within ourselves as there is outside ourselves. And this is an important key to maintaining and sustaining health. If we take the time to check our inner senses regularly to feel what's happening, and then incorporate the new information into our lives. When we stop growing, we resist our changes. We're liable to get sick. We must maintain our bodies in a relaxed, open state to keep energy flowing inside to out and outside to in. How else can we really experience life? Body tension is created by resistance to energetic flow. Illness often follows the accumulated tension. In order to stop impeding changes in our body, we must maintain the resistance and tension. Oftentimes in our lives, when we feel something is being asked of us, we ask something of ourselves. We may experience feelings of fear, anger, even anxiety, and then become the resistance to our own change or growth. So think about it this way. Can we stop nature? Can we slow her by an intervention, like damming a river or cementing a cliff by the ocean waves that are crashing in? Eventually, nature has her way. This message comes forth. It's change. When you think about the brain, so much attention and research, even now, has been given to the functioning of the two sides of the brain. We have the right side and the left side. The left hemisphere, or the left side, is considered more dominant, and it controls the right side of the body. And the dominant hemisphere is your active self. It relates to form, activity of your outside world. It's concerned with time. It holds waking consciousness, your linear thought, your rational side, which houses the speech center. Your right side, or your subdominant, is linked to the unconscious for most people. But some people rarely experience this side in a waking state. It's your other half. This is your nature side, your instincts, your artistic, creative source, and is not necessarily rational. No time, only space exists in this realm, as in a child's mind. So it gives rise to your dreams and your fantasies. And here it all exists as one. So the mind's activities can be described as brain wave patterns, measuring the amount of electrical activity in different parts of the brain. There are 4 basic rhythms: beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Beta is what relates to the active word or the number thinking when you may be making plans or even solving problems. The alpha rhythm is the so-called resting state. It's the background hum when the brain is recharging and nothing is going on and you are not thinking. The theta state is related to the visual and dream states, thinking with pictures, wandering through space, through past pleasures or even future excitements. Relaxing and picturing a scene in your mind will produce this rhythm. The delta is the slowest, and it relates to deep sleep. When dreaming, there are predominantly 2 rhythms: theta, which is the visual imagery, and then beta is the processing of the vision. The alpha will show up at the quiet area of the brain, but all rhythms occur during sleep. And the part of sleep where you obtain your deepest rest and where you dream is characterized by a rapid eye movement, or the REM. With a beta rhythm, the active eye motions occur as you watch your dreams happen. When people are deprived of their dreams or their REM sleep for several days, their behavior can range from becoming very irritable to even psychotic. Because the dream sleep is so crucial to physical, mental, and emotional health, you should work to recognize your dreams, bring them to consciousness, even to record their experiences of your unconscious self in a journal. My dreams actually create premonitions of my own or even sometimes others' future. My communications with spiritual beings and expressions or realizations of deep feelings, or even just releases of excess mind stuff, and sometimes even apparent nonsense. But whatever, they're intriguing. You can learn to interpret your dreams so they have real meaning in your life. So during the night, sleep, and daytime relaxation, when your awareness is hovering somewhere between conscious, rational thought and the anything goes, timeless unconsciousness, you might experience visions of your deeper self, the balancing or passing of energy from one side to the other. For example, the right or the left brain, right? From below to above, or consciousness and unconsciousness, to the center is where your awareness centers. Regular dreaming and awareness suggests that you are close to the balance between your inner and outer worlds. So if you lead an active life and are very busy all day, even under some stress, you might have a hard time relaxing and rarely dream, and you're likely out of balance on your linear or logical real world side. It makes it a little harder to recharge your batteries daily and alleviate some tension. Often, what happens is you might get sick to get the proper rest needed. And if you have had waking visions or hear voices, consequently, you cannot take care of your earthly needs. You'd be out of balance towards the inner dream world, and it would also be hard to manifest any dreaming. When a person's life becomes totally controlled either by the material world or by the visionary world, you might experience actually faster aging, create physical, mental stress, even confusion, and sometimes you get labeled as neurotic or psychotic. These difficulties aren't very well understood, and they often cause fear in others. And many people who suffer from them have trouble in active society. You can't look or interpret dreams on a totally rational basis. Sometimes things seem so strange, and apparently they make no sense at all. Or they can go to extremes to make a point. A violent expression in dreams might just be releasing of a bit of suppressed feelings. Even the death of a friend or a relative in a dream might mean merely that you're processing or releasing of yourself from an emotional attachment to that person, rather than wishing earthly physical death. Dreams can also help you realize your conflicts or hidden emotions. You might meet or converse with friends or even spirit guides in your dreams, actually receiving some clear answers to questions or problems that you might have. And we can all benefit by being so close to our dreams as we are to our work, and hopefully they can reflect to each other. You can get guidance, inspiration, and have realization like those eureka moments. And they often occur from watching and incorporating your dreams into your daily life. So I would keep a pen and a pad of paper next to your bed and record a few words or a line or two if you awaken from a sleeping vision. First thing when you get up in the morning, those few words may re-stimulate the entire dream, and you can record it fully. You might be surprised when you look back at these dreams, even a few months later, and realize that some actually became experiences in your life. So enjoy walking the tightrope of this inner and outer space. And when the mind and body are in harmony, or there's a balance of health and there isn't any illness, to achieve or to get the greatest awareness of these two aspects, the right and left mind and the mind and body need to stay together in regular communication. By listening within and being aware of your body processes, your cycles, your true nature, you'll keep growing and maintaining your health. If you become too active and too absorbed in something you've created, too attached, or even too resistant to letting go of it, then your inner nature, which is concerned with your self-growth as part of your own evolution as a person, will try to communicate to your consciousness. And if your consciousness is too busy or your active mind can't relax and new and vital information can't get through, you'll find alternative ways to communicate. This expression will in turn move from subtle to gross levels. For example, from dreams and visions and life experiences to the mental and emotional levels, and then to the physical. The active side of yourself will finally have to acknowledge the needs of the physical body, and when the body doesn't work correctly, it needs to attend to itself to repair. So the desire of our inner nature to change against the resistance of the body is actually the conflict which creates dis-ease. What's manifested on the grosser or subtle levels is a specific symptom or illness which relates particularly to the message that's trying to communicate. The message is contained within the illness. So it's important to understand, and the message is released when this disease is unwound. If you suppress the information with tensions or with drugs to mask the symptoms, then this energy will become harder to clear as it goes deeper into the body. If you continue to relate to the process of illness with an attitude of battle, messages for potential growth will get suppressed. Soon, you'll have increasingly tense or even painful places in your body, and more serious or chronic illnesses start developing. Your only choice for continuing well-being is to stay open and integrate these experiences as they occur. Such an expressive rather than suppressive approach to illness will give you better health actually in the long run. Illness can be a vehicle to enhance your personal communication and facilitate your own evolution. The body and brain mechanics are not too dissimilar to a computer, which has certain data. A receiving place for actually new information, an active place where the program can be carried out. No new information can be programmed until the computer is at rest. The same is true in the brain. While the mind is actively thinking, it cannot receive new internal or external information. To receive, you must stop a moment and listen. You must help create the chance of this flow back and forth to happen. If you just move out of the way and allow it, the body will actually balance itself. This is a secret to maintaining health along with preventing illness. You occasionally must stop and reevaluate yourself and then go forward. Daily, relax the mind and the body. Listen, look within. Have no fear. All changes are positive. It's just your attitude that can get in the way sometimes. The inner self or the inner body is the instinctive, intuitive self, which sees and feels things before they happen. And to stay in tune with your deepest self is to stay in tune with nature. And nature also seems to reflect the consciousness of humans, and it gives messages accordingly. Natural disasters are like personal crisis. Help with the awareness and the reevaluation. It seems that crisis as well as vanity are the two main concerns that stimulate people to take positive action towards self-improvement. Each of us has our own primary doctor, with nature as our guide. We have all the healing knowledge we need within our very beings. Learning to make contact with the healing ability within and using this knowledge in our daily life is the route to better and better health along with well-being. Let's enjoy this experience that we call life. Thomas Edison once said, "The doctor of the future will give no medicines, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the causes and preventions of disease." What is prevention? Really, it is common sense and moderation in all things. And this even includes moderation in moderation, meaning that occasionally we need to go to our limits. However, going to an extreme too often can lead to acute illness or even chronic imbalances. Prevention has two aspects. The first is called avoidance, and this means not doing certain things because they seem to us to be unhealthy or to cause certain problems. This includes such things as smoking, heavy alcohol, even drug use, overeating, but avoidance may be very individual as well. For some of us, it might mean avoiding certain foods such as refined sugar, salt, fried foods, and animal products. But for others, it may not be something like living in a big city or not working in a huge office building under excessive electricity and fluorescent lights, or even avoiding automobiles in general, cars. The second aspect of prevention is called a positive action. And this means doing something now or on a regular basis to keep us healthy, to prevent some specific malady from occurring. It includes all forms of exercise, from physical exertion with sweating, which helps stimulate the cardiorespiratory system, building strength and endurance, to the more passive and stretching or breathing forms, which reduce physical, mental, and emotional stress, and stimulates and balances the functioning of the internal organs. Other positive actions include, how about developing some optimistic attitudes towards life, as well as all forms of relaxation along with meditation, increasing an inner awareness, relieving that stressed feeling. Really, all things that you enjoy or that nourish you will have a therapeutic effect. They may include things as simple as just walking in the woods, actually talking with your family and your friends, or reading a good book, climbing in the sauna or a hot tub, massage therapy, and just practicing deep breathing. Nutritionally, there are also things that I consider positive actions, and these include occasional rest from foods, enhancing your elimination, also known as cleansing, by solely drinking liquids like fruit and vegetable juices or broths. It actually aids in weight loss, allowing rest to the digestive system and the internal organs. It promotes rejuvenation and it improves vitality. And it's been my experience that the process prevents illness and it gives you a youthful appearance with vigor and vitality. It can even maybe affect your longevity. Certain diets, which you know I hate the word diet, also have helpful effects, but finding your own best nutritional quotient is part of your preventative program. How I incorporate prevention into my practice of maintaining health and overall well-being is created from traditional Chinese medicine and the energy body. Looking at the beginning of the season, looking at the body, looking at the skin. I've even sent people for acupuncture treatments to realign them with the time of the season. It's totally a different way of thinking, and I get it. But I don't have some kind of insurance policy. The only insurance policy I have is actually to sustain and maintain my overall well-being by actually paying attention to things like my mind, my thoughts, my attitude, my perception of things, and vitalizing and maintaining the vitality of a positive liquid attitude. Movement, nutrition, rest, meditation, and breathing. Those are my go-tos. So prevention really involves self-education, self-awareness, being in touch with what you need. You can then understand your own patterns, use your knowledge to stay healthy. I utilize 3 systems: nutrition, herbs, and traditional Chinese medicine. And I incorporate the subtleties of keeping the body finely tuned, helping you to understand the relationship between your body and nature can provide you with therapeutic models which can help strengthen and balance your body along with sustaining amazing health. It's been said that an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of a cure. This is the core concept of healing. Taking care of ourselves every day and working towards continuous glowing health instead of only paying attention when we are ill. Rather than making our bodies scream to be heard, we can relearn to listen for the simple guidance that our inner knowing body has to offer. So when I say the word nutrition, food is ultimately the body's fuel. The quality and the quantity that you use makes the energy in which your wonderful body, this amazing machine, can run. What you eat helps create who you are, what you do, and even how you feel. Using the appropriate fuel for vitality, good performance, and longevity. Nutrition is a widespread concern. It's a controversy, and it varies widely throughout the world. Within each culture, the climate, your activity, even your metabolism all affect your dietary needs. Foods have certain components. We all know them: carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and they're used in specific body functions. But foods also have general actions within the body. For example, fruits and vegetables help towards great elimination. They're called the body's cleansers, and they keep the body clean and light. Bread and cheese may be more binding and heat producing, but they also create congestion and they add weight. The body builders are mostly the protein foods. For example, all the flesh foods, dairy products, nuts, beans, seeds, avocados, mushrooms, tofu, and whole grains. These foods may also have a congesting effect, especially the meats and the dairy products. Other congesters are breads, cakes, cookies, candies, soft drinks, sugar products, flours, noodles, potatoes, corn, all processed and chemical foods. Too much congesting food can block the body functions and lead to stagnation along with illness. Oils, butters, and margarine, unheated and in minimal small doses, they act as lubricators, aiding the mucous membranes, intestinal elimination, the joints, tendons, and the ligaments. Every body needs to find their own optimal nutrition quotient. But a good beginning might include mainly cleansing fruits and vegetables. I don't do whole grains. My body doesn't like them. With some building according to your activity and the climate in which you live. Like in the winter, you might notice that you actually eat more meat. And I'm kind of iffy on the meat issue these days, but that's a whole nother story. You'll start to find that over time, only a little of the lubricating and congesting foods is good for you. And an avoidance of chemical additives in foods, as well as overeating, is probably the best thing. So chemicals in our diets and overeating both stress the liver and the digestive system, the heart, the kidneys, as the body is either unfamiliar with the chemicals or has too much to handle. So over time, if you're an overeater, it's creating stress on not just your physical body, but your energy body. So when you start with a clean system and good assimilation in the body, you can extract from foods all that your body needs for its daily use. So if you get a deficiency from poor foods or eating habits, or cannot digest or assimilate well, you might need vitamin or mineral supplementation to replenish your lost nutrition. The misuse of foods and other substances that we even call foods is a main factor in the formation of many acute and chronic ailments. The common cold or the flu are primary signals that the body needs to clean and rest itself. Overindulgence in foods, improper intestinal elimination, and the intake of more toxins, which are unusable materials, than the liver or the kidneys can detoxify, result in a buildup in the tissues and the organs. This must be regularly balanced by the abused body in bouts of elimination, which we know as illnesses. Intoxicants like nicotine, alcohol, sugar, and even caffeine, as well as the sprays and the chemicals used to grow along with preparing foods, affect individual organ functions, and they weaken the entire energetic system. Over time or on a long-term basis, certain diets contribute to specific ailments. For example, too much animal fats and cholesterol probably relate to heart and vascular disease, Refined sugar and obesity are connected with adult diabetes. The initial studies of the relationship between diet and cancer indicate that certain cancers are associated with specific dietary imbalances. Like that of the Breast Cancer Association is an affluent diet rich in animal fats, and colon or rectal cancers have a similar relationship to high meat diets, which are also low in fiber foods. However, we can safely say that one's attitude towards one's life, along with lifestyle, the amount of stress, are very important to one's body can handle before it actually becomes ill. Creating a healthy diet increases stress or reduces it. It can create disease or help heal an illness. It even plays a role in changing the body's size along with shape. To understand the nature of food and to learn how to create a healthful nutritional program for yourself are indeed important. Proper nutrition does not relate only to the mouth organ. All of your sense organs have their food, which helps to nourish along with comfort them. The eyes eat light and color. Ears live on sound. And the nose thrives on smells. The heart absorbs feelings. The skin, sunlight, and all of your cells and organs breathe and need good, clean air to live. So much of your health is in your own hands. Learn to nourish yourself. We can create a healthy body by using fine foods and eliminating toxins. Rays of Dawn, Thurman Fleet. Thanks for musing with me on this podcast of nature. We'll call it Nature 102. And I'm sure you're wondering why it didn't really talk about nature, but to understand the nature of the body and nutrition and movement and what have you, I think it's important to incorporate the two. Anyway, again, thanks for musing. I will talk to you soon. And thanks for tuning in and listening.